Good evening, everyone. We are live here on the page of Il Controller Risponde. Thanks for joining us. This is the first time we are holding an event in English. And the reason why is that we have a special guest today, which is Andrej Lapajne. Andrej is the CEO and founder of 𝗍𝗶𝗵. Thanks a lot for joining us today, Andrej.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, so maybe before to start, just a few words about our page, because probably we have some English-speaking friends today that are joining our live. So we are a page which is called Il Controller Risponde. That means in English, the controller answers. And this page is providing content about controlling, normally in Italian language, and it's not just me, it's two more controllers, Ada Lazzari and 𝗍𝗵𝗵𝗇. So let's start. As already said, we have here Andrej Lapajne, and which is not only the CEO and the founder of 𝗍𝗵𝗵𝗇, but he is also one of the founding member of the IBCS, the International Business Communication Standard, and is also Microsoft's most valuable professional. Am I right, Andrej?
Yeah, that's correct. Thanks, Simone. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah. So, first question. So, could you please explain briefly what is 𝗍𝗵𝗵𝗇 for the people that don't know it?
Yeah, well, 𝗍𝗵𝗵𝗇 is a rapid reporting tool or dynamic reporting tool that works in Excel and in PowerBI, and it is designed so that a business user, a controller, or an analyst, financial analyst, or a business analyst primarily can quickly create reports that are very easy to understand and very actionable. So especially in situations where you have typical business data sets with some, like, for example, actual sales, and you want to compare this to your plan, and then you can easily see, where do you stand, because 𝗍𝗵𝗵𝗇 will automatically calculate variance to plan according to, by month, by business unit, and so on, and just visualize everything really easily and in a sort of automatic fashion.
Okay, that's really great. Then another question that I'm just curious about it: how and why did you founded 𝗍𝗵𝗵𝗇? So what was the trigger that pushed you to do it?
Oh, that's a very long story. Actually, I started as a consultant. I was building reporting systems and planning systems, and doing a lot of training for people, just to help controllers and analysts and other BI people implement reporting systems and planning systems in their companies. And I was using, I was using different tools, a lot of BI tools like Microsoft and analysis services like Tableau, ClickView, Business Objects, and also a lot of Excel. And at one point, actually it was in 2006, there was a pivotal moment for me, because I met Dr. 𝗍𝗵𝗵𝗇 in Zurich, and I attended one of his courses. And at that time, I was employed with a company, with a consulting company. That and I proposed. I said, well, there's this course in Zurich. It's about data visualization and business reporting. I think that's really, really interesting. And my employer at that time said, well, this data visualization stuff, this is not so important. The important is the data and the cubes and so on. So we are not really, and we will not pay for the trip, for this training. And then I said, well, okay, I will. Then in this case, I will just take a short break. And I took 2 days off from my work, and I paid for everything, and it was really expensive because it was in Switzerland. And
okay.
yeah, and I took this course which was at that time, it was not called IBCS, but it was Dr. Hichard's course about his success rules. And these are, this is a kind of a system, the rules about good reporting, in good business and financial reporting, the rules about how to visualize things, what types of charts to use, and so on. And yeah, so I met Rolf Hichard, attended the course, and we had a couple of follow-up discussions right there, and I just became infected completely. So when I came home, I quit my job and I opened my consulting company.
Really?
And I had nothing. I had no clients, nothing, but I was so enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
I just felt, okay, this is the right thing. I mean, this is what I want to do. And so that was way back in 2006. And I founded my consulting company. And then I started working, with those rules. And I started trying to apply those rules in different reporting systems, working with the clients and so on. And I did that for almost 8 years. And then after 8 years of experience working with clients all over Europe, I just found out that, we are doing this manually in all of those tools. I mean, especially in Excel, because at that point, everybody wanted to have their reports done in Excel. So, it involved a lot of manual hacking of the charting components.
I know it very well.
Yeah. How to do this, and there are a lot of dirty tricks and stuff, and it's just so time consuming, And every time when I sat there with a client, with a company, I thought, well, if I only had this button to click there, and I would just get all this, in like boom, everything will be drawn, right? And it was just every time thinking about this idea, and I could not do it in any other tool, really. And so at some point I said, well, maybe it's time I try to build something like that. So that's how the idea came about. And I actually programmed the very first version of it myself in Excel using some VBA. So it was just a small little application.
Yeah.
Which did that, you click and you get those charts and so on. And I showed it to a couple of people, and everybody was, wow, I would love to have this, right? And then I said, okay, maybe it's, worth trying it. So, and then that's how it started. Then I searched for a programmer, and this is how my first programmer joined, and we founded 𝗦𝗶𝗺cie. That was in 2014. And and then it took a lot of time. It took 1 year to program the first beta version of it, and then we started. It. Actually, we started in 2013, even before the company 𝗦𝗶𝗺cie was founded.
Okay.
Yeah.
But here we are now. So here we are. The growth was really big, I would say. You already talked about Rolf Hichard, and I just want to ask you, how important are the standards of reporting? How important it is to have standards in reportings? And I'm talking about especially IBCS.
Well, I believe it's extremely important. I believe it's crucial. I mean, if you take a look at a typical, or if you just type the word dashboard into Google, or a word report into Google, you will see that you will get so many different styles of dashboards and reports. What people are using, colorful pie charts and line charts and bar charts, and every dashboard looks completely different with different colors and so on. And when you try to understand it, when you try to extract the meaning of the data, like even very basic questions like, okay, I'm seeing this dashboard and it tells me what is our sales or what are our financials for the month of May, okay? And you take a look and you see all of those charts, and a lot of colors, everything. But do they tell you, okay, was the period of May, was it good or bad for our business? And how good, how bad? And why was it good or bad? You just don't get those answers. It's, typically you don't get it, or you have to read through all the numbers and labels and so on. So I think it's extremely important that we have a standard that first ensures that the pictures that we are seeing are really understandable, because the managers, they don't have the time, they want to see a dashboard and they want to get immediate answers. Okay, we are 5% above the plan, perfect situation. Or, oh, we are 30% below the plan. And then the question is why? And, they need to see immediately, oh, it's because, one business unit is so much, below the plan, or there's a, I don't know, there's a location, a production location somewhere where something, is not according to the plan, or some growth rates are going down compared to previous year, and so on. So business people, the management needs to understand this, and they need this quickly, really, really quick. So this is one reason. And if you want to make sure that people actually understand the reports that they are looking at it really fast, then you need to do it. Well, first you need to do it in an intuitive way. So people need to understand the charts. If something is good, it's maybe green, and if it's bad, it's red. So it's very simple to understand it. And then the second thing is the consistency. Because if I'm a manager and I get 10 completely different reports from people who report to me, like I get a long tables done in Excel from my accounting, right? Or maybe 50 pages of some printout report with, like phone book style reports, right? And then from marketing, I'm getting completely different reports, some pie charts and something. And then from another guy, I'm getting something completely different. I just need to refocus. I waste all this time in order to understand this. And the consequence is that managers don't read the reports. They don't do. I mean, they have a 50-page report. They just turn to the page 32 because they know there will be one number there, and they read that number. And the danger is that they don't, because of that, they don't get the insight. They don't really see certain things that might be in the data somewhere in the report just because it's not there. And so it's not just about saving time. Saving time it's nice, right? But the major benefit is really extracting the insight, understanding what is going on in your business on a enough detailed level that you can act upon it. Yeah. And this is how then, if it's done correctly, the reports will become very, very actionable, and you will know every detail. Okay, this month this went 3% down. Okay, why is this happening? And then you maybe have a short dynamic comment. Somebody wrote something about it, or you can drill through, do it dynamically, explore what's going on, and then you understand the situation, and then immediately you can act. You can act, you call some people, or you have a meeting and you say, okay, this is our problem, what are we going to do about it? And you start the action. And that's when the data actually turns into action. And then this is the point where actually you get the return on investment from any BI or reporting system.
I'm always saying that at the end, so reporting, the aim of reporting is to support decisions. So exactly. If we have 100 pages of reports and we just one number is valuable inside of it, I mean something is wrong. And I'm always also thinking that controllers normally are working a lot to produce these pages, maybe these 100 pages. There is a lot of work behind
each month. each week, each month, you know, you
Yeah.
copy and paste those numbers, and you know, you make sure you you stick to the timeline. You know, you deliver these by the 10th each month, and then you send it, and you just hope that all the numbers are correct, right? And you were just dealing with the numbers. I mean, that's the stupid thing. I mean, people are so, you know, I mean, and highly educated people who know most about business in a company. The controller, you know, knows a lot, you know, about the processes, about how things run, about how things are calculated, and so on. And then, you know, they are forced to spend like 30% or 20% of their time just copy and pasting some data and not really analyzing what you know, what happened this period, what should we do about it, focusing on, you know, suggesting some actions and so on. So the highest level of reporting is actually suggesting, you know, making some recommendations. Okay, we can take action A, B, or C, right? And then the management decides.
Yeah,
so that should be the goal.
It's not, let's say, before the reporting, it's after the reporting, which is maybe the activity that has the most of the value added of the controller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And just a thing to our audience, if there's some Italian which is not so friendly with English, you can also write question in Italian, then I will translate it later. Going on with our topic of today, we said we are going to talk about a bit the future of reporting. And I would start with a kind of hot topic at the moment, which is static versus dynamic, because we are really moving to the dynamic world. We have a lot of business intelligence tools which allow us to drill down data, to navigate data. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, this has been a trend for quite some time, actually, from the late 80s already, or especially in the 90s and so on. Yeah, I mean, definitely we are transitioning from static reporting into dynamic reporting, and then further from dynamic reporting into maybe automated reporting, and, you know, artificial intelligence and data science and things like that. But yeah, I mean, the trend is very clear, but the adoption is still quite poor. I mean, I believe that, of course, in the future, reporting will definitely be very dynamic, and not just in the sense that it will be automated, and that it's, you know, that you can report dynamically, like in a dashboard, when you can you see what's going on, and then you click somewhere and you drill down, you get the details immediately, or you drill through to another page with a lot of details, and techniques that are already a standard, I would say, in a typical BI tool. But also dynamic in the sense that software and you know, software solutions will actually search for certain patterns in the data, and will dynamically change the views based on what is really happening in the data, and will try to provide us with some automated insights, some interesting patterns in the data, outliers, things like that. And they will try to provide this in a user-friendly way, like with good visualization, which is one path that I see in the future, like automated, or out of his, like automated visualization, or maybe also in other means that are close to human beings, like you know, natural language, so insights that will just, you know, software that will actually write a report with words in English, for example, or hopefully also in Italian or in Slovenian, or and so on.
Why not?
Yeah. So this is definitely the future. is definitely dynamic, but of course also we need to adapt to the processes, because I mean, if you just take a look into the past, I mean, Excel offered pivot tables. So right, this was probably the first, you know, practical dynamic reporting feature, right? But how many people have actually used pivot tables up until, you know, recent few years? I mean, they were probably there from the 90s, right?
Sure.
But people still have their, you know, cell-based reports, copy and paste their plan each month, and or the actuals, and combine something, and have thousands of lookup formulas with all manual processes, and you know, export data somewhere and then import it through files and all that stuff. It's still very complicated in real world situations, you know. So we need to do a lot, I guess, to streamline all the processes, to make sure that the data is connected and so on. It's not just what the technology can do right now, because the technology can do amazing stuff right now, but it's the whole process, you know, where it goes from your old ERP system, and then, you know, how does it go into this fancy new system, and you know, how do people adapt to it, and it also takes the change in the skills that people need or require. So it's also a lot of change management.
I think there is still a cultural gap in this field, because we have the technology which is running 10 times faster than sometimes the adoption of it into the companies. And for many reasons, it's not just a cost, it's also because, as you said, so the skills of the people, and also all the organization, because if you change something, you have to change 10 other things maybe. And so this is slowing down the adoption of these new tools, I guess.
That's one of the reasons. But sometimes also the software is the reason, you know, because at least when the new technologies come out, and especially if they are done with, if there are if those technologies are driven by these huge big companies like IBM, Microsoft, and so on, many times they neglect the user factor. So you have this brilliant algorithm, but you know, it's so user unfriendly that you need like 10 IT people to set it up and, you know, connect it and so on. So I think that's a major hurdle, you know, because the tools in the end should be so user friendly that you can take it in your hands and just work with it, and you just forget what's behind it, and so on. So the tools should help us, rather than, you know, we should now study this and have a team of people and a project of 2 years to implement this. So I think it's also I think also the mentality of software, of bigger software companies and just software producers in general, has to shift towards much better user experience, user interface, you know. So like designers of software have to think more about who is using it, and they have to realize that they are doing this for real people, and what is the process, you know, how many clicks does it take for a user to get something out of the software. So
Okay, so before going on, we have already 2 questions, and maybe it's good to already to answer to them. So there is Paolo, who is asking us, becoming a business partner for finance people controller is the key for adding value. What suggestion can you give to go deep in this direction? This is not an easy question, I guess. It's
it's a very important question, because this is, in the end, this is exactly what a controller should be. I mean, if the controlling is done right, then the controller is definitely the partner for the management directly, you know, and reports directly to the management. So well, there are lots of steps, hard to say. So I would say definitely first make sure that you're not spending too much time on tasks that, like we were discussing, copy pasting and data and so on. So I would say invest into automating reporting. So for example, that you can, click every month and you get new data without some manual processes, or even without clicking, implement tools like PowerBI and tools that can already automate the process of getting the data into the system, that can automate reporting and so on. Of course, 𝗦𝗶𝗺𝗇 is also one of the tools that will help you with that.
Yeah.
But it's the whole process. So if you automate this, then you will have much more time for the communication, right? Because if you want to be a successful business partner to the finance or to the management board, you need very good communication skills. And in terms of reporting, this means, learning how to write efficiently, how to structure the reports, how to write short, efficient comments. So just very basic writing skills. But beyond that, how do you do the visual storytelling? How do you do this interactively with dynamic reporting? And then maybe how to teach the finance people or even the managers to use those tools dynamically themselves, right? So you need to invest then into, so just take the time, save the time from repeating tasks and move more into this communication, visual storytelling. This is how you get the link to the management, I would say, and focus on the actual analysis and recommendations to the management.
Yeah,
so and we are short, but of course, lots of steps how to do that.
I just like to anticipate that we are going to see some functionality of 𝗦𝗶𝗺𝗇 very soon, and that could help also to automatize some steps. Then there is another question of Fernando, and what can you share about how you see the BI reports users and their data skills to be able to read the report and gather insights from it? Besides being perfectly elaborated, their own data savvy and knowledge. In example, I talked to clients and we see one report and I saw the things that they didn't see. Yeah, this is a question of probably who is receiving the reports and the difference that we have in understanding the data.
Yeah, this maybe brings it back to the original discussion we had. I mean, the IBCS standard can definitely help here. I mean, the consistency. If you're doing it in the same way each month, and each user creates a report that looks similar and uses the same definitions, because this is the core of the IBCS standard, actually. So you use the same colors and same shapes for the business entities or business elements that have the same meaning. So if it's actual and plan, it always looks the same. Like actual is an outline, it has a border, and then you fill it up with your actuals. And then if you have variances, they're always red and green, for example. And if it's a ratio or something, it looks different than the sales in million euros and things like that. Even the terminology, the words that are on the report, if you can make them the same for each meaning and make sure that in your company, everybody who is producing reports uses the same notation, the same standard, then the people who will read those reports, they will actually, understand them, because they will just get one version of it's like just speaking one language, So it's easy for us to communicate because we are talking English. I hope, right? People understand English, so you can understand the thoughts that I'm trying to express here, right? But it would be very hard if I was talking in Slovenian, you would be talking in Italian, the third one would be talking in English or in Japanese, and right. So then it's very hard that we have a intelligent conversation. So it's the same with the IBCS standard in reporting, because it's one language, right? So you have to learn it at first, and of course you need some tools to be able to use it. But once you do, then you talk and somebody will read and will listen and will understand it. And people get adjusted very quickly to that.
I think this is a great, this is really a great example that you did. And for me also, the first time that I was showing the success rule that you were talking about, and also the IBCS for the first time, I was meaning, wow. So I think that most of the people has this wow reaction, because it's really, I think, the key that can change a lot of things, and can also help to develop the role of the controller. Going on, I was just thinking about data visualization and data science. So I think we are moving to a future where these two disciplines are even more, let's say, separated. So probably in the past we had someone which was doing both, data scientist and so on. But I see that data visualization is growing a lot as topic. Mm-hmm. And what do you think about that?
Well, it's I think you're right. I think the data science somehow is going its own way, and it's at least at the moment it's very contained, and it's sort of a very separate world of data science, and the data scientists are doing that, and it's a separate team of separate people using separate tools and so on. So it's still not very integrated in normal, even with the tools, and especially in the organization. So I don't know any company that would have data scientists in the controlling department or something. It's usually some special team somewhere, and some special hackers doing that, data scientists and so on. But I mean, in terms of data visualization versus data science, I would say they overlap a little bit. It's two different fields. So data visualization is a more general field of just visualizing data, and you can of course visualize data in reporting. You can visualize data in BI. You can visualize data, and you do visualize data in data science as well. So data visualization is definitely a part of data science, but data science is also algorithms and methods and approaches that are more close to statistics, and more, of course, machine learning and other AI, artificial intelligence methods, right? So it's a it's a world where people use more algorithms and advanced algorithms and machine learning techniques and so on. But in the end, they still need to produce results. So they need to visualize it. And especially, I would say this visualization is typically in data science. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit its own world again, which I think this is a process where things will converge in the end, right? But it's still a very young data field, which in my belief, it should get integrated into other processes in reporting, in controlling, and so on. Sooner or later, this should integrate. Okay. That's my guess, but we'll see what the future brings.
Yeah, I think so too. So we already talked about a bit the role of the controller, and taking all these what we said before, what will all this affect the role of the controller? We already said some things, but I think that it's not just that. So because we have automation, and so on. What is going to happen?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell the future, but I think definitely, I mean, from the trends that I see around what is going on, and definitely number one, all the processes will get automated much more than they are. The machines and the algorithms will do a lot of work that humans do at the moment. So they will slowly the processes that are manually very intensive will get replaced by algorithms and software and bots and robots and things like that. So I would say practically in controlling and reporting, this means that the basic like data flows and generation of reports, and even generation of visuals, like this will get automated for sure. So also in visualization, it will go into automated visualization. Automatic visualization is a thing of the future, and then these methods and tools will somehow converge, I guess, and will become I would just view it as very smart tools that will help you gain some insights and do the initial analysis, and then I think for the actual controllers, the task of a controller will shift towards the things that humans can do very well, but machines cannot do very well. And this is still creative thinking, intuitive thinking, and communication, right? So which means, understanding what the situation is, and of course we will have a much better understanding because the machines will select the most interesting data parts or data categories or something. They will help us gain a better insight, but then we will even more have to be the communicators, the analyzers and presenters, maybe storytellers, and the things that are inherently human. So my prediction would be that a job of a controller in the future will tend towards that. So that's also my recommendation. It's already good to start investing in this
earlier and
start early
in these fields. Because also communication is quite a hot topic, I guess, because it's always, we are doing a lot of work before, I would say, the reporting, which is for me, let's say, the border, and then after the reporting, maybe the work is a bit poorer than before, and we are not investing enough in that, because probably finance guys are used to not to. Let's say marketing guys are more focused on the communication of the ideas and so on, and I think that we should move a bit on this this direction.
Exactly. That's also my thought. Marketing guys, they were trained for that. If you go to a social science faculty, they train people how to communicate, how to write, and so on. But in the financial world, nobody is teaching us those skills, right? And I find it sometimes very, very hard, when even as a consultant, when we are reviewing the reports, right? It was the hardest thing in the end when we automated everything, and you get this, even in in the old days in Excel. Okay, now you have the pivot table, and pivot table is connected directly to some data source, and you just press a button, you refresh the pivot table, and the whole report with 30 pages is refreshed. The visualization is automated with 𝗦𝗶𝗺, and you get this new picture every month. But what the controller then had to do is deliver the message, and then write the message, and then people will still like writing things like okay, in year 2021, the profit margin went up for 3.5% because blah blah. You know, so they were just describing the facts that were already there in charts or in tables, right? And this is not what is expected. What human can add is the reasons why, you know, in a short term, so not just describing the numbers, but actually adding additional insights and making sure that the right emphasis is made on the right parts of the business where the management should focus on or take action. And this is what I think is the core that will sort of remain in the future for the controller to do. And this will be very hard for a machine to do.
Yeah, hopefully, I would say, because otherwise we are jobless.
No, I don't think people will be jobless. I mean, they will. You know, I hope. But definitely we will need to refocus, reshift, and I hope this will. You know, it's like you need to build. It's like you need to build a house, and you know, thousands of years ago, you know, you had to do it with your hands, you know, from mud, or you know, make some sort of bricks and lay them out and so on, and you had to do everything. And now you have machines and they help you and so on. So it's easier, right? So if you have a good tool, of course. So I don't think people will lose jobs for that, but they will have to refocus and gain some other skills for sure.
Now I think it's the moment to watch a bit the functionalities of 𝗦𝗶𝗺. I know that many people are curious for sure. So Andrej is now going to share the screen.
Okay, just let me know when.
Yeah, you can start, and then I'm adding it to the stream. Okay.
Okay. All right. So if the screen is up, then maybe I just show you a couple of examples of IBCS compliant reports that were done with the 𝗦𝗶𝗺 visuals. So just to get an idea, this is a sales dashboard. That has some basic KPIs here. So we have the revenue and costs and gross profit, very basic KPIs. But then you see, okay, this is my actual revenue. This is my and this is now the variance to previous years. So we understand that my revenue is growing towards previous year, but and we are also slightly above the plan, right? However, the gross profit is slightly lower than plan, and then of course you can click on it. So this is now where dynamic reporting kicks in. So this is PowerBI, and the advantage of a dynamic reporting system is, you know, you can just click and then you get the answer. So this is my revenue, but if I click here, I get the situation for the gross profit, and then okay, my gross profit. You can see the you can get the answers because you have multiple visuals in a dashboard. So now I see, okay, my gross profit, it's a little bit below the plan. Why? Because some of my business units, for example, here are below the plan. Especially in my case here, I immediately see, okay, this is my mobile business unit. And then you see, you move your mouse above this negative variance that needs an additional explanation, because again, when I'm here, I again need the explanation. Okay, what happened within the mobile business unit, right? So, and now you have features like, you know, like smart tooltips. You move your mouse, and then you get a more detailed explanation. So I get another chart which shows me the, you know, the countries where the mobile sales are not going to according to the plan, or something like that. Or, you know, you click on it, or you right click and you do the drill through, and you know, you go to the details in just one step. So it's just, you know, one click, and then you get all the details, what's going on within the mobile business unit. And you see, okay, we actually have two major product lines here, the smartphones or the tablets, and you again click and you get the answer. Okay, it's actually the tablets in Austria. Yeah, you know, they are performing not according to the plan. So this is this is the point how you actually analyze in a couple of clicks, right? And now, of course, it's the job of controller to maybe call the country manager of Austria or the brand manager of and so on, and discuss what's going on, and then communicate this in the right way to the management. So this is the purpose of a dynamic report done in Power BI. So let me maybe demonstrate now how 𝗦𝗶𝗺_BI visuals, these are all 𝗦𝗶𝗺 BI visuals, how they can help you with that. So maybe I just do a really quick demo of the visuals. So we have two visuals in Power BI. The first one is called 𝗦𝗶𝗺 charts, and the second one is 𝗦𝗶𝗺 tables. So the first one, you just click to add the visual to your Power BI, and then you start analyzing, and basically you just add your data. And so this is my sales in 2018. Okay, so it's 8.8 million sales. Now I'll compare this to, for example, previous year, and immediately the visual has changed. So I get a different type of chart. So now I already understand that last year we had 8.1 million, and this year it was 8.8 million, and I see that, okay, this is now 8.2%. Okay, so now I can click and I see, okay, the difference, this is the absolute difference, or I could click once more. I get both the absolute difference and the relative difference. And yeah, and then moving on, then you say, okay, how does this look? What does the trend look like? And you add your month, and again, the chart will add the month and so on. And then it's completely dynamic. You can just view it in one chart, or you click once more and you get the column chart. So this is more appropriate if you want the people to actually read through every month and so on. But sometimes you just need, some trends, to show some trends. So then it's better to have a line chart, or just pure lines and so on. So it's all within one visual. And then it gets more. Okay, now I understand that we have 8.2% growth for the whole company, right? For the whole year, and how it goes according to the month. But now the key part is to get to the detail, because a good report is always a report that is detailed enough to actually understand and take action. Right now, I have no idea where this growth comes from. I can see from the month trend, so this is something, but this is not enough. So what I can do now is just add some more data. Okay, so now I'll add a group of business units. I just click once, add it here, and what happens now within, again, the same visual. So you see, this is already a kind of a automated visualization scenario. Let me just maybe reduce this a little bit. Okay, so that we get all the charts. So what we see right now is, again, the same chart, but this time I have added business units, and now I already understand my business much better. Okay, now I see that we have a baby care business unit. So this is my number one business unit. It's 2.9 million, right? And it's growing 15.7%. So it's very exact. My second business unit has really good growth here. Again, this is my mobile business unit, and the other ones, and so on. So, and so this is how you identify, how you understand, how you gain understanding on a deeper level, and you understand the relations between data categories, because everything is correctly scaled. This is a very important part in data visualization, that things are rendered according to the same scale. And this is also one very strong recommendation of the IBCS standard. Don't just put one chart and another chart, and you just populate your dashboards with some random separate charts, right? The visualization needs to take care of the scaling. So if this is 2.5 million, right? And this is, I don't know, 1.5 million, right? Then the length of this bar is exactly in the right proportion to the actual values. So this is the only way how a regular human can actually understand how important is a specific area of data or a specific data element. For example, the skincare is so much smaller, right? It's still, it has a negative growth, but it's much less relevant than this one, right? Okay, this one is growing, but it's much smaller. So first you understand the importance of everything. You see the forest, but then of course you're interested, especially maybe exactly this brand manager or something would want to know, okay, but still what's going on here? We don't want to lose any money, right? So what's going on here? And then you click, and then the chart would be zoomed, and then you can just see all the details, and then you really understand, wow, 70% negative growth, that's really bad.
Yeah,
so,
it's really bad.
Yeah, so this is the principle, so somehow getting the big picture, understanding what's important and not, and then go into the details. So this is the purpose of 𝗦𝗶𝗵 charts visual. And then we have another visual, which is the 𝗦𝗶𝗵 tables visual.
Excuse me, Andrej, if I'm interrupting you, because there is a question of Tatiana, and she's asking, does 𝗦𝗶𝗵 visual support the balance sheet and the cash flow statements?
Yes. We actually have really good support for that. So let me just show you one example. This would be an example, which is also, by the way, IBCS certified, and it's a very famous IBCS sort of recommendation how to do income statements, balance sheets, and cash flows. So, for example, this is actually exactly the 𝗦𝗶𝗵 tables visual. So this is the second visual that we have, and it allows you to build tables with embedded charts. So for example, this can be a table. So let me just change the view. So you see, this is within the same visual. You can basically switch between charts and tables like that. And then you see I have some values of my income statement for previous year, for actual. And also I have all the variances, variance to previous year and relative variance to previous year. And if I just go back, switch back to this view here. Now this is the income statement, which is quite a challenge, especially in PowerBI, because in an income statement, also in a balance sheet or even in cash flow, you always have different types of KPIs or different types of accounts. Some of them are positive, like my revenue. This is my total revenue. So if I'll close it, right? If I open this, my revenue consists of product revenue and service and other revenue, right? So this needs to be added, and this is my total revenue. So it's very simple. And this visualization, the vertical waterfall chart is really nice because it beautifully visually explains the calculation, right? So this is, some elements are adding, but then I also have some costs. As you see, I have the product costs, and of course my costs are lowering my margins or profit margins, so they need to go into the other direction. So what 𝗦𝗶𝗵 has here is a nice function. We call it row level invert. So for example, a typical waterfall chart just goes on and on and on, you see, and then but because this is a cost, you can just simply right click and say invert. And now it goes into the other direction. And then you can have the subtotals. So now I have my product costs, or like direct product costs, direct service costs. And this would be, for example, my total costs of goods sold here. So this is a subtotal here. And you can close it or open it. And then you have a gross margin. Of course, so you have all of those different elements. Then you have like additional formulas that people typically, like in Excel, you would always have this, right? Different types of KPIs and added inside the table. And Excel is brilliant in this way because it's so flexible. It's just a cell-based tool, so you can add a row anywhere, or add a cell, or add a column, and just type something in. And Power BI and other BI tools actually have a very big problem with that, because you need to prepare your structure in advance. You need to do your hierarchy of accounts, and then you put it in. And those tools are not really made for such dynamic scenarios, flexible scenarios. So, for example, to get this in, the 𝗦𝗶𝗵 has a special function which is called the formula editor. So, for example, how did I actually add the gross margin? Let me just show you. We have a thing called the formula editor. So, for example, let me just delete this. Okay, now I don't have it. This is what came from my data source, and I don't have the gross margin %. So what I do here is I go here, say add formula, and I can simply type my formula like I was in Excel, same principle. And this only works, of course, in 𝗦𝗶𝗵 visuals. So now I'll say, okay, this will be my gross margin in %. And now I type the formula. I type gross margin, and you see the tool has found that we have a gross margin. So I can just click here, divide this by revenue. Okay, I can actually just press tab, and then I can say, all right, this will be a %, and I apply some formatting, bold, italics. I add the formula, and here we go. So now I know it's 60. It was 66.3% last year, and it's 67.7% this year. So this is exactly 1.4 percentage points growth in my gross margins. And the same way I can add net income and other stuff. So yeah, we have a really very good support for the financial report. So this is a P&L. This would be a balance sheet. In Power BI, it's really nice because you can just do a slicer, so you can have just one page, and people can just click through this, and you can do the dynamic commentary. For example, I have some comments here. So see, I have service and other revenue, and there's a comment here, the same comment here. And if I switch my month to April, you see what happens. Now I have 4 comments on different line items here. So this is my service revenue. Something is going on with my operating costs here. I can see exactly what. So this is how the 𝗦𝗶𝗵 tables visual works for financial statements.
Very, very interesting, I have to say. And then it's also another way to, let's say, really to use Power BI. I think it's not maybe just the the visuals, but it's also, I would say, the method behind, the concept behind.
Yes, I mean if you just switch any of those visuals to like a Power BI visual, you get your typical tables and matrices, and it's very hard to do something really productive here. I mean, it's very colorful and so on, but it's not really. It's not. You cannot really use it for a little bit more serious business reporting or slightly more complex business situations, which are very much needed, especially in controlling and in FP&A and in finance. I would say, even I mean this report here. I mean you see everything here, right? All the business units, everything. But if it's just a regular chart, like in a normal Power BI, but not just Power BI, all BI tools are the same. You have a lot of different charts, very colorful, but what will this tell you? It's really, really hard to say. So it's if it's done in an IBCS way, then I think this is much more understandable, and also it can provide much more insight.
Yeah, of course. And what about Excel? Because many controllers still use Excel, and Power BI is not yet just the let's say the tool that all the controllers are using. So also in Excel, I think you have a lot of functionalities similar to
so we also have the 𝗦𝗶𝗺 for Excel. This is our first product, and we still develop the 𝗦𝗶𝗺 adding for Excel, because I believe Excel is not going anywhere, so
no,
it will always stay.
We were in some other lives, we were talking about Excel, and we were always saying that at the end of the presentation of each new tool, there is someone that is raising the hand and asking, "Oh, can I download the data into Excel?"
Yeah. That's always the question. Yeah, I mean, I would say still, I mean, if you do have the chance, try to explore Power BI, definitely, because this is so much easier to do. I mean, preparing something like this in Excel, and so in such a small amount of time, it's almost impossible. So I would say, try Power BI. Definitely, it will help you if you do it correctly. It will help you a lot. But of course, we also have the tool for Excel. So let me just show you. It's kind of similar process. So you just go here. Now I have some actual data and plan data. It's by month, and then I just insert a chart, because I want to compare plan to my actuals. And here I have the results. So again, the variance is automatically calculated here, and then you can fix the number format and so on. Now I understand this. You can display the variance as relative. So this is now 14.5%, for example, or just in K euros. You can also do complex things like 𝗦𝗶𝗺 for Excel will do things like this. Insert waterfall charts for several business units or several data categories. So now I have the full report, 9 charts or how many. And you can go here and say, I want a difference highlight. I want to see what is the difference. And again, 𝗦𝗶𝗺 in Excel will do it in a very dynamic way. So you add this, and it will calculate, this is 8% growth here and here. And then of course you have a lot of functions to make sure that this will fit on one page, for example, like that. And then you can put this into your Power BI, into your PowerPoint, or you can link it to PowerPoint or something like that. So, for example, just export this to PowerPoint with links. And then again, now, if you do this correctly, if you do this in a nice way, you will see that now you can also make automated reporting with just Excel and Power BI. Because, for example, here I'm linking the data. I'm linking my PowerPoint slides to my page in Excel. And then if you're also able to link or connect this data via a pivot table or something like that to your data sources and automate the process, then next time you will just go here under data and you will say refresh all, and everything will change. So for example, something will change here, like whatever, tranquilizers, for example, will go down or something like that. Now I should have, I should have changed something else. So like, for example, Q4 will change to -50. Okay, so my chart has changed here, right? And if you go back to my PowerPoint, it's also changed, right? So you have a monthly report done just in Excel and Power BI, and it's completely automated, right? So your goal is now to write the message, what has happened, comment about this, make sure that the management understands what's going on here, and propose some action, right? And then this part here you replace with a pivot table, for example. So you can have a pivot table like that, and you create a chart and make sure that it's dynamic as well. So for example, like this. Okay, this is now my chart, and you drop it in here. Make also a comparison like this, move it here, and you have a simple report here. Maybe we limit the outliers here to something like whatever, 70%. Sure that the long lines don't stick, right? And this is already a dynamic report now. I can click, all right, North America. So see, also in Excel, you have scenarios where it definitely has technology to move from the completely static reporting to dynamic reporting. Okay, hopefully this makes sense, and also answers the question, what's with Excel. So
yeah, sure.
Nice tools also in Excel, definitely.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Then let's see if there are some other questions from our audience. Otherwise, I would say that our time it's almost over. It's 1 hour, so the time is running, and a lot of interesting things we saw. We talked about a lot of interesting topics, I think, and then also we saw some functionalities that are really interesting for a controller, for a finance guy. And so if there are no other questions, I would thank you all for watching us. And Andrej, thank you so much for your time, for joining us today. It was really a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Well, thanks again for having me. So I invite everybody to just try the visuals, because both of our visuals for Excel and for Power BI have a free trial, so you can just download it from our website. So this would be 𝗦𝗶𝗺BI.com or just 𝗦𝗵.bi, and just find our website, and you will see that we have the so I'm not sure, are you still sharing the screen?
No, I can do it now. So
okay. So it's okay. So it's just 𝗦𝗵𝗺BI.com, and you will see the download links for the free trial. Okay, and even for the Power BI, I must say that the basic version is completely free. So and you can do some nice reports even with the completely free version. So if anybody is already using Power BI, you can just go to click on the get more visuals to open the marketplace of the visuals and search for zebra, and then you will find the 𝗦𝗵𝗺BI visuals. You just import them, and you will be able to work with the visuals already. Yeah, and then of course the full version is a paid visual, but it's not expensive. So it's I think if this was interesting, you definitely try it, and hopefully somebody will also invest into into a license or two, and then this is what keeps us going, and what helps us develop products further.
Okay, great. Thank you again, Andrej, and goodbye to everyone. We will have some other lives in the next days. We will switch back to Italian the next time, I guess. Okay, thank you so much.
Ciao.
Bye. Thank